Greetings ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to another set of replays from World of Tanks. And in this video I thought we'd take a little bit of a look at some of the higher tier German medium tanks. So the original German medium tank line culminates in the E50M, and of the two lines is the more heavily armoured, so that's the line I thought we'd take a look at. We're kicking off proceedings then with a game from me, driving the Panther II. This is from patch 9.21, so bang up to date. As I've been grinding through this tank recently, it seemed like a good opportunity to showcase what it is like. So we're here on the airfield map. This is a tier 9 match, middle of the road matchmaking, not the best, not the worst. Given the current matchmaker, where you find yourself tier 10 all the bleeding time, I would say most definitely this is kind of, I saw this as relatively favourable, believe it or not. So, straight away we've come over here to this kind of hilly area thing in the middle of the map and spotted out an enemy Primo Victoria. There's also an IS over yonder, and we're going to see what we can do. Now, I started grinding through the Panther II before it was able to mount this ridiculously long 88mm gun. Previously this gun had been reserved as a grinding gun on the E50. I think it was actually quite a good idea to put it on the Panther II, as it made what had previously been quite an underwhelming tank a bit more competitive, and also it makes the grind on the subsequent tank, the E50, that little bit nicer, as you have already unlocked this gun, so you can use this gun on the tank. Although this gun does make the Panther II look even more ridiculous than the Panther I with this 88mm L100 gun. So we've still got this Primo Victoria over here, Tiger P over in the background, Su-14-1 artillery on the enemy team has also been spotted out, and we've finally done some damage, putting a shell into that Primo Victoria. Now, the thing with this gun is that although... tracker Tiger P. Although, compared to the other 88mm gun, it is better. You know, the accuracy on it is very good. The aiming stats on it are better. The penetration is better. The gun is actually very similar to the 20-pounder that you'd find on the Centurion Mark I or on that Primo Victoria. And the ammunition is also similarly quite expensive. Despite that, I mean, it's not all good. Ooh, AMX 5100, do you want to be careful about him. The DPM of this gun is pretty underwhelming, and bear in mind that's us talking about tier 8 medium tanks that generally speaking are pretty underwhelming DPM. Anyway, we were actually going for the track on that Primo Victoria, but we missed. Go for the ram there because, well, we weigh more than he does. Backing off to give as many allies as possible a chance to shoot this fellow, and there we go. And if you actually look at how the ram went, he did 108 damage to me, we did 187 back to him. Panther II is a heavy machine, as all these German tanks are, so it shouldn't come as a surprise, therefore, that if you're going to ram someone, and that someone is a Panther II, you're probably going to come off the worse for it. Taking a blind shot at the enemy artillery, but I don't think that really hit. Get spotted and do need to be a little bit careful because there are enemy tank destroyers back there, that Borsig, and there's also, of course, a tier 9 waffle thrower that had previously been spotted. Pay attention to that tier 9 waffle thrower, by the way. He's at the end of this game, he was rather bitter, let's put it that way. Trying to get a shot on the enemy artillery, but it's just not working, apparently. I know this gun's accurate, but it would seem it's not accurate enough to shoot artillery, because what is? AMX 5100 appears to be going for me. He's the next one to do the charging chip tango. And he comes for me. This time, however, we decide to try and get out of the way. I really want my allies to shoot this guy as much as possible, like that ISU. And he's the second tank to try and charge me down and to die for it, which is quite funny, if I'm going to be honest. We're up to 1900 damage done, by the way. Well, 1983, which isn't too bad. So, remember that waffle thrower was spotted over by the enemy base, and he's still there. He doesn't appear to have moved, despite having been spotted. Ho-hum. I wonder if he's ever going to move. Well, he's no longer spotted. Let's not worry too much about it. More on him later on. So, how is this game going? We're 2 kills up, which is fairly nice. Scoreline is 8-6. we've done just shy of 2,000 damage ourselves. We've got about 900 assistance damage too. Ooh! That waffle thrower's still there. Wonder if I can shoot him. Oh well, he's no longer spotted. Let's have a punt. Haha, he's dead. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why when you're spotted you move your damn tank. Because otherwise people like me will go, well, you're still there. Let's try my luck. Pew! Okay, so fine. We managed to pick up the kill over there. Hello, Mr. T-54. Goodbye, Mr. T-54. Give the IS a bit of a hand here. Now, we are going to come against some problems fairly shortly, and you're going to see some shortcomings of the Panther 2. So far, the Panther 2 has just been doing things that it actually does well, i.e. shooting people at decent range, and occasionally ramming people. Ooh, there's an LTTB up there, and we actually only critically damage him. That's a bit unlucky. Never mind. Bouncer shot. There is some armor on the Panther 2, not a fantastic amount, but some. And then we bounce on the LTTB. That LTTB is going to give us problems, by the way. Blind shot, because why not? And the scoreline is 11-8. So just moving up to this rocky formation here. There's only 4 tanks left on the enemy team. The LTTB is going for it, so we're going to see if we can engage this guy, because otherwise he's going to kill our T-34-100. So we put one shot in. Our T-34-100 unfortunately dies anyway, and we just bounced a shot in the side from the Klipstreher Waffenträger. That's a problem. We have that TD shooting us in the side and in the bum. That is a bit of an issue. Can we squeeze another shot into this LTTB? No, we can't. And we need to stay on this side of this rock formation, otherwise that tier 7 German tank destroyer is going to kill us. He only needs 2 more shots to finish us off. And here's one of the big weaknesses of the Panther 2. It's kind of sluggish for a medium tank. And the ammo rack. It's still, at the end of the day, a Panther. Panthers have terrible ammo racks, and our Object 432 is really getting on my nerves. And so there we go. We lose our ammo rack by taking a hit from that LTTB. He is just able to run rings around us at this point because we have no support. Well, there's that IKV-90B, okay? So he's come over to help. Credit where credit is due. So we're trying to see if we can do something about that LTTB, and he's coming around the other side. I just wonder if that might be the case. This is where you kind of, you're taking your bets about where the guy's going to turn up. He puts another shot into me, which is unfortunate. But in this sort of situation, it's very difficult to outplay the LTTB. What I'd like to do is get some distance between myself and this rocky outcrop, so that then I'm engaging the LTTB from a distance. But if I do that, there's a good chance the Klipstreher Waffenträger will be able to shoot me and kill me. So I don't want to do that. So instead, I'm trying to stay close to this rock so that the TD can't shoot me, but that means the LTTB gives me problems, and in the end, that Swedish tank destroyer is worth his weight in gold, and he manages to cover me and take out the LTTB, so I just thank him for that, because that was very valuable. So, we've managed to whittle them down to 2 bottom tier tank destroyers. Now that of course does not mean this match is a foregone conclusion, but, well, we'd have to put some effort in to not win at this point, especially as our WZ just used that Su-152. Okay, so seeing if we can do anything about this tier 7 German TD, who has been giving me problems for the last minute or two. We've got myself. There's the WZ moving up as well. And we've been spotted, so we're pretty sure the guy's still up there. I don't want to expose my tank too much because I am a one-shot for this guy, and, well, there's absolutely no need to expose my tank too much. Loading a high explosive shell, by the way, because that waffle has really bad armor. I'm spotted, oh noes. But if he's going to give me a little bit of his tank to shoot at, I'll try the shot. 259 is actually a low roll for the high explosive from this gun. Average would be 295, but our friendly WZ manages to finish him off. And that is the match. So let's go and check out the post-game stats for this one. So that ended up being enough for Fire for Effect, Hand of God, Bruiser, Ace Tanker, and a Lover Schleio's medal for killing 2 tanks on the enemy team that were a higher tier than me, as we killed the Waffle Thrower and the T-54. Not a massively spectacular game, but as far as I can work out, people don't generally do that well in the Panther 2. So it doesn't take too much of a game to ace it. 2,875 damage done, 2 kills, 1,209 base experience was actually enough there. As we can see, well, of the two teams, they were relatively evenly balanced. The main difference was that the top few tanks on our team just did more damage than the top few tanks on their team. Shout out to Petronius in his IKV-90B for giving me a hand against that LTTB there. It was very much appreciated. And no, that is Petronius, then with a Z at the end, not to be confused with a Patronus charm. 22 shots fired, 15 hits, 12 penetrations for that damage count. 9 hits received, 6 penned, 3 did not, 480 damage blocked by our armour, 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 8 damage, 2 destroyed, almost 900 assistance damage, almost 15,000 credits spent on ammo though. For a gun that does 240 alpha damage, much like the British and Swedish 20-pounders, the ammunition for this gun is not cheap, which is a bit of a shame, but there we go. And of course, we made a reasonable amount of experience from that particular game. By the way, you know I said keep an eye on that tier 9 waffle thrower who I blind shot, or did a blind shot and killed, however you want to phrase it. Apparently he was quite angry about that, and he sent me a lovely message at the end of the match, and I would never advocate naming and shaming people, but, well, if you're going to go to the effort of sending a message to someone, go figure. Apparently I have been reported and I support illegal hacker programs. Who'd have thunk? Congratulations, I am a loser. It would help if he could actually spell the word loser, but, you know, whatever. Let's not be too harsh on him. English is probably not his first language. Then again, maybe it is. Who knows? But there we go. So, that was our first match there in the Panther 2. Let's grind our way up the tech tree to tier 9 now in the E50. Moving up to tier 9, then we are looking at the E50M, driven for us today by Dampney. Dampney is on Himmelsdorf. It's a tier 10 match, and we're going to see what he can do. Now, I must admit, I haven't got the E50M myself. I've unlocked it. Well, no, that's a lie. I've almost unlocked it. I'm like 5,000 XP away or something. But not quite there yet. So almost finished the Panther 2. Not keeping the Panther 2. It's not terrible, but no thanks. And the E50 is actually looking like it could be a lot of fun. Now, when I originally got my German medium girly crew, that was for this line because the E50 and the E50M both looked like they were a lot of fun, and I wanted the girly crew for those tanks. So we'll see how this goes. Himmelsdorf, not your traditional medium tank map, although medium tanks generally have the flexibility to kind of cope with whatever's thrown at them. But the E50 is one of those machines that actually has a bit of armour to work with, which we're going to see, and it is also quite weighty. Combine those two things, and it means this machine is very good at ramming. Spoiler alert, by the way. Dampney is going to take advantage of this fact, and it will lead for quite an entertaining replay. I think, anyway. Now, Dampney has shown a game before on this map in a medium tank. He was in the Chinukai, did the whole holding down W until the team had won thing, and it worked out very well. He's not going to hold down W the entire match in this game, but it does seem he's quite enthusiastic with the W key on his medium tank. So, firstly, there's the enemy TVP 5051. He's put one shot into that guy, takes a shot, well, technically 2 shots there. One penetrates from the back chap, and one from the TVP does not. Another bounce from the back chap there, which is nice. And Dampney is just trying to finish off this TVP if he can. That would take out one autoloader from the enemy team, and it's a pretty powerful tank. Top tier, of course, as it is a tier 10 machine, so that would be a valuable kill, and he is rewarded with the kill. So that is 1 kill by shooting that TVP in the face. Dampney's going to come around the other side here. There's an enemy Stridsvagn coming around the corner, which is interesting. Stridsvagn has 40mm of frontal armour, meaning that Dampney's gun can't overmatch it, and the angling is too great for Dampney to damage the plate. However, the Stridsvagn has a weak point up there, Commander's Hatch thingamajiggy. Dampney puts a shot in there, gets tracked, And then, you know, I mentioned the E50 was pretty good at ramming. Ramming speed, Mr. Johnson. Except that its Vung takes out Dampney's tracks, but even so, and with only a small lead up, Dampney is still able to ram the guy to death. So that's 2 kills, 1 from the gun and 1 from ramming. M46 pattern around the corner, this is quite an interesting engagement. M46 shoots Dampney, Dampney shoots M46. M46 has a better reload, however, though the penetration is a little lackluster. Pity that Dampney's shot didn't hit there. Pershing over here. Dampney's going to do nothing as the guy gets ammo ragged by a Rectal AMX. Ouch, that guy clearly wasn't using any lube. So, going over the hill, they've won this hill with relative ease. There's an enemy Patriot. Ba-ba-da-ba, shoot and ram. There we go, very nice indeed. And that guy is dead too. Kill number 3. Hello artillery, kill number 4. So far, Dampney has got 4 kills, 2 of them by ramming, and 2 of them by actually shooting people. Nonetheless, let's push onwards, see what else Dampney is able to do here in his E50. There's still a reasonable number of enemy tanks that need a killing, and so we'll see how high Dampney can take that kill count, I guess. What have we got here? T25 Pilot 1. You're not as heavy as an E50. You don't have the armour of an E50. Oh, poor little baby. Wouldn't it be a shame if someone shot you and then rammed you to death? It'd be a real shame if something like that was to happen. Bang! Bang. Kill number 5. 3 of them from ramming. Ooh, Leopard prototype. Oh, he's dead. Lerva. Now, there's actually a tank you don't want to ram. The Lerva's quite a weighty machine and has a little bit of armour to boot. But Dampney's just able to pick up the kill with a nice shot there. 6 kills, 3 from shooting, 3 from ramming. And that just leaves an enemy T28 prototype, T54 Mod 1, and a Lerva. Of those, the Prot and the Lerva, maybe you wouldn't necessarily want to ram, but the T54 you definitely would, given the chance. And, well, Dampney has already shown that he isn't shy in his E50, so where's that T54? Come here, you lighter. Come here. Dampney's going to show you how we do things. Shoot him. Ramming speed, Mr. Johnson. 7 kills, 4 of them from ramming. There's only 2 of them left. 1 of them left. Can Dampney do anything to this Lerva? Come on, come on. Ah, shame. There we go. End of the match. 7 kills, 1 shy of his Radley Walters medal, but some special kills there as Dampney rammed 4 enemy tanks to death. Always good for a laugh. So, let's have a look at those stats then. Well, I think Dampney kind of put it there himself when he uploaded this replay and just titled it E50 rams everything for an ace. Pretty much gets right to the point. No messing about. Ace tanker then. Hand of God. Perhaps unsurprisingly with all that ramming. Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, High Caliber, and a Top Gun medal. Very, very nicely done. Finishes at the top of his team by damage done. 5,381 damage, 7 kills, 1,450 base XP. And I bet that enemy team don't know what hit them. Or maybe they do. It was an E50. Anyway, let's not worry about that. 14 shots fired. 13 hits, 11 pens, and you might look at that and think, okay, that's not too bad. I mean, the gun on the E50 is very accurate, but bear in mind that was a tier 10 match, so there was a little bit of armour floating around. But more to the point, Dampney often wasn't really aiming. He was just pointing the gun in their general direction and holding down W and until they succumbed to the inevitable German slab of steel slamming into them at 50 kilometers an hour. 8 hits received, 3 penetrated, 5 did not, for 1,400 damage blocked by Dampney's armour. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 10 damage, 7 destroyed, 223 assistance damage, and over 2 kilometers travelled. And with a standard account, that was still a 17,500 credit profit. Lovely game to watch there, and a damn lot of fun. Anyway, we're going to move up to tier 10 now, for a game that's just a little bit more sensible. So once more we've jumped up another tier as promised, and we are at the tier 10 at last. This is the E50M. Driven for us today by Fuzzlow. We've seen a couple of his replays before, although his name has changed a couple of times over the years. But here we go. Here on the highway map, Fuzzlow is in an all tier 10 match. So this is the worst matchmaking you're ever going to see in a tier 10. There are no lower tier tanks to beat on. It is all equal tier machines, all tier 10s. We have got 4 or 5 heavy tanks per team, couple of Type 5s on the enemy team, a clutch of 3 E100s on the friendly team, and then rounded out with a T-57 Heavy and an FV-215B for the enemies, and an AMX-50B and an IS-4 for the allies. There's then a couple of tank destroyers, but most of both teams are medium tanks. Fuzlo is immediately coming over here to the region of the map that you would normally associate more with medium tanks, and he's going to hopefully have a good impact on this match. Immediately spots out a Stilitsvang 103B, and having a look at what enemy tanks are coming over here, we've got a Batchat Centurion Action X and a 121B. Fuzlo has managed to get himself in a nice little position here so that he can get shots on the bad guys before they shoot him. These German medium tanks, whilst gun depression is not the best at tier 10, it is still very, very workable, and Fuzlo is using that gun depression to be on these enemy tanks. Takes 1 heat round there from the enemy Centurion. Apparently that Centurion has decided he doesn't want to actually, you know, use regular ammunition, he's just going to spam premium at people, which, well, seems a little curious in general, given that he's most likely going to be fighting medium tanks. Then again, Fuzlo does have some armour, so whatever, I guess. Pair of Centurions over here. Fuzlo takes another hit from another Centurion, this time firing APCR, but he executes the heat spammer. So that is definitely good for Fuzlo. German tanks do tend to have quite a lot of flat surfaces, so they tend to be quite susceptible to a bit of heat thrown their general way. So that's 1600 damage done and 1 kill so far. The E50M is very much like the E50 in very many respects, as you might gauge from the name. The main upgrade is with the gun. Your alpha damage stays the same, but your penetration does jump up from 220 with your regular rounds to 270, and you're firing APCR as standard. You get the typical tier 10 medium tank heat rounds as your premium ammo choice, with 300 and 320 penetration there if you wish to use them. 330 penetration, okay. Nothing hugely surprising in that regard. You still get a good slab of armour. Ooh, nice bit of assistance there. And you're still pretty fast in a straight line, even if you're not the most agile machine in the world. So the E50M can still ram like a boss. So far, the friendly team are 2 tanks up, the AMX-50B and the Fuzlo here in his E50M, both having achieved a kill. Enemy Batchat goes for it, and the Chipmunk, love the name, in the AMX-30B unfortunately succumbs to the Centurion, but the friendly Batchat executes the enemy Batchat. So overall, that was a 1-for-1 trade, not too bad. Bit more assistance damage there. Fuzlo is definitely racking it up, as if you hadn't been paying attention, he is now up to over 3,000 damage assisted, which is very tasty indeed. Shot there into the Centurion. These shots have been showing the Centurion Action X's turret armour, whilst certainly not bad, is also not certainly impenetrable. And Fuzlo switches shots there from the 121 to the Object 140, brings the Object 140 into the pretty easy one-shot range. So all things considered, that was perhaps not a bad choice, though it did leave Fuzlo exposing his tank for a moment or two longer. And if he hadn't done that, maybe he wouldn't have taken another shot in the face, this time from the Object 140. Going for the 121 this time, slightly awkward. His gun depression isn't quite enough to hit the 121's hull, and that guy's turret armour is fairly formidable. Worth pointing out, by the way, that Fuzlo has 2 marks of excellence in his E50M here, which is pretty sweet. Puts a shot into the enemy E50M, which is nice. And really Fuzlo is just working this position, using his gun depression to good effect to put shots into the enemy, and the enemy Centurion bounces a heat round, and I find it hilarious when people bounce ammunition. Maybe that's just me. What can I say? So 121B and the Object 140 is still there. Worth mentioning at this point, by the way, for anyone who isn't aware, the 121B is not the regular tier 10 Chinese medium tank, it's a Clan Wars tank. So it's basically a 121 with, instead of the 122mm gun in the turret, it has a kind of Western style 105. Which is an interesting choice, though from what I've heard from people who have played the tank, and indeed I'm pretty sure I've shown a replay of it, it's not the most popular tank in the world. It's a bit mediocre from what I can tell. Anyway, Fuzlo puts a shot into him. Unfortunately, that one bounces, which is a bit of a shame. Scoreline is 9-3, though. It doesn't look like this game is going to be against them. Probably a good thing, because Fuzlo is down to around about 600 health. So he's a two-shot for most of the enemy team. A reliable two-shot, that is. Even the Object 140 would need particularly high damage rolls to two-shot him. And, of course, that T-57 Heavy there would be packing some an autoloader to make Fuzlo's life that little bit more difficult. Another shot into the Object 140. Fuzlo could probably ram this guy to death if he so chose, especially as the Object 140 flubs that shot, but as it is, Fuzlo goes for the safer option and just does a drive-by shooting for kill number 2. So far, he is up to almost 5,000 regular damage as well, by the way. Very impressive amount of damage and assistance damage acquired so far, and the last two enemy tanks just evaporate, and that is the match. So for the last time in this video, let's go and check out the post-game stats and see how well Fuzlo did. Here we go then, that was enough for an ace tanker in the E50M, along with the Spotter Ribbon, Hand of God, and Fire for Effect. 4,937 damage done, 2 kills, 1,246 base experience, which seems to be around about what you need for an ace in most tier 10s. Well, at least from what I've seen. 21 shots fired, 17 hits, 13 penetrations, 4,937 damage done, as I mentioned, 7 hits received, 4 penned, 3 didn't, for 1,170 damage blocked by his armour, 3 enemy tanks spotted, 7 damage, 2 destroyed, and on top of all that, 773 assistance damage. So that was almost 10,000 combined damage there, assistance and damage dealt, which is pretty tasty. Didn't fire any premium ammunition in that match, so even with a standard account, Fuzlo made a profit of 10,500 credits in a match that was only a little over 6 minutes. So there we go. There's our perusal through the higher tier German medium tanks, or at least one branch of them. I hope you enjoyed that little wander through German medium tanks. If you did, by all means feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and as ever, I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.